In this lesson, we're going to look at an example of a money problem. So suppose I have $1.77 in quarters, nickels, and pennies. If I have twice as many pennies as I do quarters, and I have 3 fewer nickels than quarters, how many of each coin do I have? All right. So first of all, let's understand what they're asking us to find. Right? They're asking us to find the number of quarters, nickels, and pennies. So we want to know how many of each we have. Okay, so of course we got to come up with a variable to represent these, but we can only have one variable involved, right? We know that we only want one, otherwise we won't be able to solve our equation. So remember, the trick is let our main variable be the thing that everything else is compared to. So it says I have twice as many pennies as I do quarters. I have 3 fewer nickels than quarters. So quarters is what I'm comparing to for both pennies and nickels. So that means I'm going to let quarters be my main variable. All right, so we're going to have number of quarters. That is going to equal, I'm going to use Q for that. All right, so the number of nickels, of course, is going to be what? Well, 3 fewer nickels than quarters, right? So 3 fewer would mean take the number of quarters and subtract 3. And the number of pennies, well, the number of pennies, it says twice as many pennies as I do quarters, so take the number of quarters you have and multiply it by 2. So we have number of quarters, number of nickels, number of pennies. Now let's look at the one other piece of information they give us. They tell us about this $1.77. Okay, so understand the $1.77 is giving us the total value of money that we have. So I might want to, in each case, write out an expression for the value of quarters, nickels, and pennies. So if Q is the number of quarters, what's the total value in quarters? Value in quarters. Okay, well, we know 1 quarter is worth 25 cents, right? And if you had, say, 4 quarters, you would have $1 or 100 cents, right? Because you're going to just take the 4 quarters times the 25 cents. So what we need to do is multiply the value of one of the coins times how many coins we have. And you could do this in one of 2 ways. You could either use 0.25 so that you're working in dollars, or you could use 25 so you're working in cents. I'm going to go ahead and just use 25, so that way we don't have to deal with decimals. So the value in quarters is 25Q. Okay. The value in nickels is going to equal 5 times how many nickels we have? Well, we have Q minus 3 nickels. And then the value in pennies, I know this is a little silly, but I'm going to write it out anyway, is equal to 1 times 2Q, but of course I'll just simplify that to 2Q. All right. But understand this is all in cents. Okay, so that's really important to keep in mind. So this $1.77, I might want to change to cents. And of course I do that just by moving the decimal point over 2. So that's 177 cents. So this allows me to set up an equation. The total amount of money I have in cents is equal to the total value in quarters plus the total value in nickels plus the total value in pennies. And we can do a little simplifying here. 25Q plus 5Q minus 15 plus 2Q. Let's get all the Q's together. 25 plus 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. And then minus 15. And now we can start solving our equation. So I'll add 15 to both sides. I've run out of room, so I'll come up over here. Put a little dividing line here. So we've got, let's see, 177 plus 15 is 192 equals 32Q. So we divide both sides by 32. Okay. And let's see, 32 goes into 192 6 times. Okay. Might need to do a little scratch work to get that, but we get 6 equals Q. But of course, now we have to go back and answer the question that's being asked, right? How many of each did we have? So we can say our number of quarters was 6. Our number of nickels, well, we took 3 away from how many quarters we had. So 6 minus 3 is 3. And then number of pennies, take the number of quarters we have of 6 and multiply it by 2. So that would be 12. So make sure we answer the question that was actually asked of us.